Another Rockstars on God Volume 3 update. I'm going to call this one Half a Day in the Life of an Editor / Graphic Designer. Part of the day I spent while I was waiting for a file to upload after work tonight was I tore this out from a local newspaper, and I'm going to email this editor to see if he would like to review the book or cover the book, because I'm a local author. You know, there's that local angle there. And this is my little bookmark for the Yngwie Malmsteen interview page. So turning to the computer, what happened is the file I designed and sent to Ingram Spark, I did not leave 1 inch of height for the barcode. I did leave 1 3/4 inches width, but not 1 inch height, and they really want 1 inch height. But in order to make 1 inch height, I needed more room. And look, the text was all squished together. The comic strips were squished together. There wasn't any room really to make room for more height for that barcode. But what I did is I took these 2 columns of text, and I noticed I had a margin on the left and on the right. And so I made my text box wider, as you can see there. And that allowed me to make the comic strips wider. And when I made the comic strips wider, you'll see that each of my comic strips has a thick white border around it. And the actual live comic strip painting done by Monty Colvin, the great artist, is fitting in that window precisely proportionally. And so when I made those squares wider, there was some blank space to the right and to the left. And so I actually had to go into Photoshop and clone in some of this background of the wall of this manager here. And I can't remember if the comic strip musician is named Gasfist or the manager is named Gasfist. I think it might be the manager, but anyway, I just cloned some of the wall there and cloned some of the wall there on this side of the Doug Van Pelt holding the microphone character. So that allowed me enough room to, when I made the text wider, I could squeeze it down and move this whole text box up. I still leave a margin, and I actually increased the margin a little bit so it's further away from the edge than this prototype copy of the book. And so I did that for the comics, and Viola, I had enough room for the barcode. But then I realized people read comics left to right. And this was box 1. This is box 2. I asked him, what do you think of Jesus Christ? He says, I'll take the Fifth Amendment on that one. And the third one was, well, what do you think about his claims to be the way, the truth, and the life? No one comes to the Father but by me. That is box number 3. And the final one is, this interview is over, is number 4. And I have it in this order of 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's not how people read comics. So I had to rearrange the boxes. And I had originally made this one wider. I made these 2 wider. And so these 2 were still skinny. And I had to go back and do more Photoshop work on this one to make him wider, clone some of his background, and I just squeezed the frame in on this one. You can't see the wider part of the wall there, that blue wall. Anyway, and I tightened up some of the text over here so it kind of doesn't go wider than this area as it had previously done. And I made the text a little bit bigger so you can read it better for the ISBN number and the type of book it is and the price. And that's the day, or half of a day in the life of an editor / graphic designer. So there's the update. Ingram Spark, the printer who actually is part of the Ingram distribution program. So this book in the future will be available at bookstores for print on demand. Somebody goes into a Barnes & Noble in Indianapolis, Indiana, or Sacramento, California, they can order the book. They look it up on their computer, Rockstars on God, Volume 3 by Doug Van Pelt. It'll pop up, and they'll say, okay, we can order the book. We'll have it for you in 9 days or something like that, Mr. Jones. And so Mr. Jones goes home and he gets an email or whatever and says, hey, your book's here. The book gets printed one at a time and shipped to that Barnes & Noble in Sacramento or Indianapolis, and then Mr. Jones gets the phone call to come pick up the book. So there's the update. Just thought you might like to see the creativity that's going on behind this wonderful book. So happy with it.